Hello and welcome back. In the last lecture, we initiated the discussion on the role of different agencies in promoting the rights of women. As we said, the government, whether at the central level and as well as the state level, plays a prominent role in this regard. Apart from that, there are many other different agencies which have an integral role to play in the promotion of the cause of women. Now, in the first place, one of the most prominent institutions which have been set up in this country in this regard is the National Commission for Women. Now, the National Commission for Women is a statutory body which has been passed under the National Commission for Women Act 1990. It has been established since 1990 to review the constitutional and legal safeguards for women, recommend remedial legislative measures, facilitate the redress of grievances and advise the government on all policy matters affecting women. Now, this Commission for Women was the result of a recommendation which had been passed almost 2 decades before in the Committee on Status of Women in the 1970s, which had stated that such a commission is very important to fulfill the various functions to facilitate redressal of grievances and to accelerate the socio-economic development of women. And so finally, in the year 1990, the Women's Commission came into being. While at the central level there is the National Commission for Women, at the state level there is the State Commission for Women. Now, the National Commission for Women adopts a multi-pronged strategy to tackle the problems of violence against women, generating awareness amongst women and equipping them with the knowledge of their rights and with a capacity to use their rights. Now, under section 10 of the National Commission for Women Act, there are a number of functions which have been laid down to further the cause of women. So, that involves investigative and interventionist role, evaluative role, review of laws and policies, promotional and educational research. So, therefore, the Commission has a wide range of functions it is expected to perform, and it has to ensure that all necessary efforts are made to promote the cause of women. So, therefore, the Commission takes up the role of investigation and examination of matters relating to safeguards provided for women under the Constitution and other laws, make necessary reports from time to time for implementation of those safeguards, review the existing provisions of the Constitution as well as other laws and suggest necessary changes to be made therein from time to time, take up cases of violations which have happened and look into such complaints and take suo motu notice of matters where it relates to deprivation of women's rights, non-implementation of laws enacted to provide protection of women, non-compliance of policy decisions, guidelines or instructions. It can call for special studies or evaluative studies on the specific problems and atrocities facing women. It also undertakes promotional and educational research so as to suggest ways for ensuring due representation of women in all spheres. It participates and advises on planning process for socio-economic development of women. It may inspect or cause to be inspected any jail, remand home, women's institution or place of custody, etc., and take necessary remedial actions if it is necessary. So, therefore, the National Commission of Women is a one-stop center to look into any issue confronting women in society, whether it is a case of any violations which have taken place, denial of rights which had taken place, one can approach the Women's Commission, whether at the state level or at the central level, and then the Women's Commission is entitled to issue notices and conduct necessary inquiries or require the appropriate authority to deal with the matter with sensitivity or to ensure that their rights are adequately enforced. So, it is a statutory body which takes necessary measures to see that complaints are effectively addressed. It also takes up in many situations counseling with regard to different issues confronting women. Apart from that, the time to time evaluation of the laws which are in existence, the necessary amendments which must be brought in, as well as status report of women or of different segments of women, maybe tribal women, disabled women, or maybe women in remand homes, etc. The problems facing them, they can take up such studies. They also undertake advocacy and awareness programs, and therefore, it has or it plays a very prominent role in upholding the rights of women in society. And over these years, almost 2 decades, it has actually taken serious strides in this regard, and from time to time it has held different consultations with different government agencies, non-governmental organizations to review the laws, the implementation of laws, to amend the laws and policies in place, as well as to intervene in various situations of violence being faced by women. And the National Commission for Women has really played a prominent role in safeguarding the rights and causes of women. So, it is also for necessary information to all persons who may not be aware that if there are any issues or perspectives, whether with regard to maybe even harassment at workplace or with any other place where the woman is facing some type of a violence, some type of violation, one is free to approach the commissions, whether the state commission or the national commission, and the commission will provide necessary information or will direct the appropriate authority to take necessary actions and to ensure that such violation does not happen. So, they can intervene in all such matters. They are a statutory body and can intervene in all such matters and take appropriate actions whatever is may be necessary for that purpose. So, they are a very important body which have come for to serve the cause of women. So, just like the National Commission for Women, there is the National Commission for Child Rights, there is the National Commission for Human Rights, which are also operating, and they also look into the issues of human rights violations or child rights and violations and pass appropriate and necessary measures which are necessary in line with the working of the National Women's Commission. So, this is one statutory body which is there. Now, apart from this, there are what we know as a civil society, and in present times the civil society plays a very significant role in promoting the improvement of different groups in society, and more specifically improvement in the lives of women in society. They have played a crucial role in the promotion of rights and fostering opinion, generating support and working towards collective concerns. Now, what is meant by when we are using the word civil society? Now, it has generally and commonly been defined as the area outside the family, market and state, encompassing a spectrum of civil society actors and entities with a wide range of purposes, structures, degrees of organization, membership, and geographical coverage. Uh, so, this includes the wide array of non-governmental and not-for-profit organizations that have a presence in public life, expressing the interests and values of their members based on ethical, cultural, political, scientific, religious, or philanthropic considerations. Now, therefore, the civil society organizations refer to community groups, NGOs, labor unions, indigenous groups, charitable organizations, faith based organizations, professional associations, and foundations. So, therefore, non-governmental organizations also form a part of this civil society, and these generally non-governmental organizations have an organized structure or activity. Other than that, it can be in present times also online groups and activities such as social media communities which are in existence, social movements of collective actions which can be organized, and apart from that, as we said, faith organizations, faith communities, labor unions, etc., form an integral part of it. Now, the civil society has a very important role, and they are very important stakeholders in the promotion of socio-economic rights. Now, the role that they play includes that of a watchdog, holding institutions to account, promoting transparency and accountability. They play the role of an advocate, raising awareness of societal issues and challenges and advocating for change. Service provider, delivering services to meet societal needs such as education, health, food and security, implementing disaster management, preparedness and emergency responses, etc. The role of an expert, bringing unique knowledge and experience to shape policy and strategy and identifying the building solutions. They also perform the role of a capacity builder, providing education, training and necessary capacity building, incubator, developing solutions that may require a long gestation or payback period, representative, giving power to the voice of the marginalized or the underrepresented classes, citizen champion, encouraging citizen engagement and supporting the rights of citizens, solidarity supporter, promoting fundamental and universal values in society, definer of standards, creating norms in the society. So, therefore, they have a significant role in the growth of a nation, the development of a nation, in the generation of ideas and for generation of necessary support towards those ideas, and in the issue of promotion of women's rights, civil societies have played a very prominent role. And in therefore, if one looks into whether in India or worldwide, there are a number of such civil society, if we can speak of specifically NGOs which have come up. Now, these NGOs have played a key role in the development and progress of women, securing their rights, achieving economic independence and effectuating adequate welfare and rehabilitation of women who have been victims of violence. They have made key improvements in the field of education, health and nutrition, economic well-being. So, therefore, in various issues pertaining to women's rights, pertaining to discrimination as well as violence against women, the NGOs have played a very pivotal role and they have played a sort of a link between the government and the masses, and they have tried to address the specific issues which are plaguing the communities and plaguing the people. Generally, if we look into the NGOs which are operating, they are grassroots level NGOs, there are women advocacy groups, and there are also international NGOs. Generally, those at the grassroots level, generally they are formed within the communities, and they try to promote the welfare and provide economic opportunities for the women who are community residents. So, there are cottage industries etc. for women within the communities. They provide the necessary economic resource and support for economic emancipation and independence of women, but they are more at the community level where it is organized. There are NGOs who have taken up advocacy, and they are generally a group of people who try to generate awareness about the women's abuse and women's rights. So, therefore, there are these NGOs have played a very prominent role in the struggle for gender equality, and they have organized public protests and mobilized public opinion and tried to get the attention of the government in order to introduce different changes, or to show the maybe existence of certain issues and problems in the society. They have drawn the attention of the government, entered into consultations with the government, and framed various laws, or passed or garnered support for various legislative changes from time to time. As maybe in the Nirbhaya case, though it was more of the common society or the general society coming up, the common masses coming together in order to press for a change for law. So, that was a sort of a movement, though specifically there were as such no NGOs, but it was the common man who was affected in the process and who came together in order to garner necessary support, and which led to the 2013 amendment. So, people's voices can be very strong and can have real impact on the change in society, and or impact on the way in which things should be reformed, or laws should be reformed, whereby necessary change in the mindset, necessary change in the institution etc. can be brought about. Similarly, there are many international women NGOs, but they are more at the global level, and at an international level they try to garner support for gender justice issues. They have various collaborative partnerships with local NGOs, with government bodies etc., and they try to generate support at the international level, so that nation states can take a note of the various issues plaguing them and take appropriate steps in that regard. So, if we see even in India, with regard to self-help groups, with regard to women advocacy groups, with regard to other economic development NGOs, there have been various measures which have been taken to mobilize women, to create necessary resources at their disposal, to empower these women with economic independence, with education, with health facilities etc., so that over a period of time there has been much change in this scenario with regard to the issues and perspectives of women in the country. However, the battle is a long one, the struggle is a long one, and much more remains to be done in this regard. Lastly, to speak of families as a basic institution have a very important and significant role to play in the survival, protection and development of the child. And while speaking here, we speak of the girl child, as in several lectures we have referred to the serious issues plaguing the girl child, specifically in Indian families and societies, where she is subject to neglect, she is subject to abuse, she is subject to one or the other denial of rights. Now, the family can play a very significant role, because they are the basic institution where a child takes birth, and this institution gives her the necessary identity, socializes her with regard to the various values, the various norms which are there, and her understanding of rights, her understanding of freedom, etc., is nurtured and is nurtured by the family, and it revolves around the family. So, therefore, whether it is the parents or the grandparents or others in the family, they have a very crucial role. It is they who have to ensure that the child takes birth in a child lives in an atmosphere which is free, which is friendly, which is supportive to the cause of children, which provides the necessary support in the development of the child. It nurtures the mind, it allows the child to think, to understand things in the right perspective. In the very first lectures we have spoken of gendered socialization, gendered stereotypes. These stereotypes, socialization happen primarily and at the first level in the family. So, if these type of normative values can be removed, and such traditional values can be done away with, whereby the child is exposed to a situation where the child can think, the child can decide for herself, the child exercises her right to choose, and that is encouraged by the family, then it would provide for create a much better scenario in the establishment of rights, or in the empowerment of women of tomorrow. So, it is very essential that there is no neglect and abuse in the family, there are no preferential treatments which is meted out by the family, there is value for the human rights of both of all the children who are there, whether a male child or a female child, preservation of those values and upholding of those values. So, realization of rights and maintenance of human dignity are the responsibility of the family. So, it has to start early, and it has to start with the girl child, with the birth of the girl child, and nurturing her in an atmosphere where she finds herself equal to all the other counterparts, and feels herself equally having equal access to the opportunities and resources which are there in society. So, whether it relates to education, whether it relates to health, or taking up a career, or even choosing a partner in life, she must have the necessary freedom to decide for herself, and the family should only guide her to the extent necessary, but avoid so far as possible the traditional beliefs, myths to be a part of the developmental process. So, therefore, gender justice is something which is which can be achieved through the coordinated efforts of the different bodies, the different agencies which is there. It is a concept which we have to strive against, which in reality is still non-existent, and there has to be specific efforts towards eliminating the inequalities, towards eliminating the discrimination, towards eliminating the different forms of violence which is existing against women. So, therefore, very structured, very calculated steps are to be taken, and such steps are to be taken at all levels, whether at the international level or at the national level, with the laws and policies having very important role to play in that regard, as well as the other agencies and organizations who are working towards that end. All must come together, and it is on the coordinated efforts of all that somewhere we are looking forward to a situation where there will be respect for women, where the rights of women will be upheld, all sorts of inequalities which are existing in society in terms of preferences for the male child, in terms of denial of health services to the female child, etc., etc., all can be done away with. It is the responsibility of not only the government, not only the NGOs and or the family, but it is the responsibility of every individual living in society to respect the basic human rights of all other individuals in society. So, it is the responsibility of every being to see that the other people of the society, whether it is women or based on any other grounds, if there is a differentiation, their rights, their voices, their freedoms, their liberties are respected, and everyone is a partner in that matter. So, therefore, men has to join hands with women and everyone has to come together and ensure that the human rights of everybody, so whether it is women or it is the other gender or it is some other disabled class or any other class of society, human rights of everybody is protected and ensured, whereby the dream of the constitutional goal of realization of the human rights and fundamental freedoms of individuals can be well established, and the society is a better society to live in, where rights and rights are respected, where rights are upheld, and there are no discrimination existing in the society. So, with that, I thank you all. Thank you.